Hey there guys, Fabian Ratzak here. Welcome for another demo of Amalgam Audio. This time we talk about Tonex 1 pedals. So there is a great thing Carly's offers now. So also there are some killer pedal captures coming. So this is the pedal capture set number 1. Features some great overdrives and yeah, there are some really important steps before. So as you can see, I open up my DOW, I open up the track. So you see I got 2 instances of Tonex loading. The first one is the overdrive, which I'm muting right now. And the first thing first, with the pedal kit capture set, you get the I, or basically a preset. Which folder you open. I would suggest to open the preset folder, so you get your Two-Rock CRS Edge pedal DI platform, which features the Two-Rock cabinet also, and this is our main tone where the overdrive pedals go through. So my signal chain is basically the guitar going into the interface. Is really important this time. I know I talk every time the same for the intro, but this time it's really important because there are some maybe different steps. So the first thing, I'm dialing in the interface so it doesn't clip at all. Only when I hit ultra strong, there might be some little red light, but as you see, it's not hitting the red light, so there is no clipping involved. And yeah, so the clean sound, the main clean tone of the amp capture is like this. So very nice pedal platform indeed. It has the right frequencies so that we can now put in some pedals in front. And now I just engage my my other Tonex plug-in. So here, as you can see, I opened already the folder up. I also put some noise gate here because of the noise environment. Don't want to bore you with the specs. All right, so now you see the pedal. I will start with the Les Paul with a Chandler tube driver, which is a famous pedal. Sounds amazing in real life, and we'll see how Carly's captures this unit. So at first it's off, as you can see. The input isn't touched at all because it's the same input that the interface goes. For example, if you use another approach that you dial the interface completely at 0, just make sure the input trim is set on both units. The pedal unit, so there you go, inside the plug-in where you use Tonex, is the same input as the amp you're using. So in this case here at 0, and maybe you're dialing it back to maybe 0 on the interface, and then you need to get your right level for the amp, and that must be, in my opinion, the same amount of trim input that you use on the pedal. So it's basically the same. So I'm gonna start with a bridge pickup. At first I'm gonna hit a chord, and then I'm gonna bring the pedal in. Nice tone. It has some warm tube quality to it, has some nice bites, even a little bit of fuzzy element in it, and that's what I really dig about these Chandler tube driver. And to give you some more impression, I also have a room reverb, which you can hear right now. Just a tiny bit of room. And I also like to use sometimes maybe a delay type, some subtle 8-note triplets. really like about this capture and pedal in itself is it's very dynamic. It cleans up really nice to a point. Very nice character. So this is basically the Chandler tube driver. Awesome pedal. And the good thing, where I'm also talking a little bit later about, is not only you get now the Chandler tube driver, for example, but you also have your controls, which are really important when you set up these kind of two instances of Tonex. The same with the pedal, the big pedal and the small pedal, because you can create killer nuances with it, like the volume, the gain and the presence, but I will come to this later. Let's see the next one here right now, which is the Crowther Hotcake version 2. Personally, I'm not familiar with this pedal, so what I like to do at first is leave the pedal off, strumming some chords, then get it back in and see what happens. Without. Pedal off, pedal on. So in my opinion, this is a very nice overdrive kind of pedal, if I'm not mistaken, and it really has this nice quality of letting in the amp tone. So there is maybe a three-dimensional character, very nice for chords and very transparent, if you ask me. And one thing we could do here to get the pedal a little bit more in, and then you'll see how it really begins to shine with all these captures. When you just increase the volume of the pedal, there you're gonna find your sweet spot, basically, because it all depends on the guitar you're using, of course. And let's try this maybe. Let's drive the volume to the main point, which the capture is. Dive it back a little bit. Now you see it doesn't sound really nice, and you really hear it when you turn the pedal off. This is the main tone. Now you get it back on. It's really a lot quieter and sounds boxy. And that's not the point. At least for me, I'm not going for this kind of tone. But with the volume, again, this is the middle position. We open it up even more. Even more to the maximum. You see it really gets a little bit ugly and not too much too nice, but there is somewhere a sweet spot, and you might have to use your ear this time, because there are no numbers, because every pedal is different and it reacts different to every amp. So I think it is really important to experiment a little bit with this. If you're unsure about it, just leave it at new at the middle, and I think you will be happy, because this sounds nice. If I would dive this in, I would go a little bit more. Maybe a little bit less. This is the tone I would go for me. Now let's get this back at around 5. Switch the pedal off again. And we go to another pedal. So for the Les Paul, maybe let's try, which is something very famous, is an SD1. So we're gonna use the drive mod, at first leaving the pedal off. Switch it on. Very nice to my ears. Some like, I mean, it's the OD one. It's basically, it's not the SD one. I'm sorry, it's the OD one, the overdrive. So guess what? It's an overdrive, and it does the job really, really nice. Sounds killer to me. Let's try maybe the next one, the Super Overdrive SD1, which is very famous. Actually, let's try the lead setting first off. Fresh the ears. Same we could do here, just a little bit more volume. Very nice rock territory you get here. It basically, for me, the Super Overdrive just backs up the bass a little, and not a little bit, very much. As you can tell, I'm just playing. Put it in. It's basically the bass cutting frequencies, but it has some nice mids, and it would be nice to boost for a solo maybe. Let's engage a little bit of delay here. Would be a very good choice for playing some lead tones maybe. I like it. It's nice. All right, let's go to the next one, which is also a classic one. It's the Marshall Bluesbreaker. At first off, and let's use the drive at first. Going to play at first without. Switch it on. Very nice character. It's it's basically actually for driving the amp and let the amp's tone real and just not change too much. It adds the right frequency, as you can tell, just playing without the pedal. On. Just boosting it up a little bit and give it more in your face maybe. Let's try the lead one. Can tell it really has some nice Marshall vibe, as the pedal is promising. It adds that. Of course, it's not as transparent as I told before, at least not this lead settings, but it adds the right frequencies and has some very nice bite, has good bass, it doesn't cut off the bass too much, has some nice mids, so you can't go wrong with this pedal. I think that's really amazing. So with the Les Paul. So for the last capture, I would like to show you a little bit more how important is to set the pedal right in and to dial in the volume and maybe the gain, and you can tell where you want to go. So let's try maybe the Ibanez Tube Screamer, because I think it's the least known pedal, so we have to know that a little bit more. And so this is the basic clean tone. So basically edge of breakup, very nice. And now let's add it in. So this is the basic Tube Screamer tone. As we all know, it cuts off the bass, and it's for this time it's a drive tone, as you can see on the settings here. So what we can do now to really find the sweet spot for your needs is basically, let's go to the volume and let's maybe switch that complete off. Don't hear anything, right? Okay, let's go maybe to around 2. That sounds really like shit to my ears. So very thin, very unmusical, boxy, and it's not the right amount. And as you can tell, if you turn it off, this is the amp tone. So really cuts the frequency off and it doesn't sound nice. So let's go back to the middle position maybe. So where the capture is dialed in for. It sounds nice. But maybe let's do something that people often do with Tube Screamers. Just get it up a little bit more. Now it really gets ballsy, it adds some great harmonics, gets richer, adds some more character. Even too much, as you can tell. So dial it in back. Pedal off. Pedal on. So, and some guys might think, oh yes, let's maybe get the volume around 10. This might be a little bit too much. At least also it depends a lot what you like, what is the tone you're looking for. You can't go really too wrong about it. Maybe if there's some clipping and the tone really is going somewhere else, it's not good. But here you have to use your ears. This tone might be at first a little bit where you say, it's not my kind of stuff. But listen to that. I go to the lead pickup and use Les Paul, some effect. To my ears, this sounds amazing, right? But it doesn't work for this kind of setting. That's maybe too much, but as you see, you have all the flexibility. What works not so nice is if you dial it too back. That sounds shit. I'm sorry. It doesn't work at all. So I would leave it at 5, and from there just listen to your ear. That's the most important thing. The other thing you can do, you can also use the present stuff. Dial it completely back, or just a tiny bit. Completely. That doesn't sound nice. For me personally, the presence knob, maybe if you dial it back a tiny bit, but it loses the character of the pedal itself. So I wouldn't use this a lot, actually. So maybe let's try the gain one. Dial it back a little bit. Always do the pedal on-off thing. That doesn't work for me and for my ears at least. Let's go back to the middle. A little bit more. So actually this works also to a degree. So there isn't a right or wrong. Actually, just use your ears and you would see how this works, and it works a little bit different with every pedal. So just give it a chance to try out. And the first thing, make sure the inputs are right. You use the same amount of input trim on both pedals. You could go the other road and say, yeah, maybe just leave the input of the pedal itself, leave it a little bit more and hotter. Try it out, use your ears, because this is all I can say, because I think we're all a little bit different when it comes to tones and sounds. But the thing is, which is really important, we got some killer captures of these originals, and if you want the bassist tone that Carly's is offering us with his captures, just go everything at noon. Same input, and then same input on the then on the interface and on the amps and on the pedal, and from there just use your ear to use the volume. As I told you, when you play and it's a little bit too quiet, doesn't sound nice, just give it up a little bit more, and then you're gonna see how the notes bloom out a little bit more. It gets more character, and there's a sweet spot. You can also do this just with the low. First off. Let's get back to noon, and then hear what I'm telling. I'm always doing when I'm dialing in pedals in real life, and now with Tonex I'm doing it like this. Just use the E string. So you can see there's already some sag. Actually gets brighter, thinner, and not nice sounding. Let's go the other road. Now you see it adds too much. This would be maybe the sweet spot for me. I have my tone. And from there, just use what you like. Just to give you an idea, because I might think some people are a little bit unsure about, not even sure how to use this. Am I doing this right? So basically there is no right and no wrong. Listen to all these classic recordings. They were all experimenting with this, with pedals and stuff, and even use stacked pedals. And from this, there are no numbers, that rules. There are just the basic rules are okay. If you use the input on the system the same, that's great. But from there, just go nuts and try out. Use your ear, because we're all very, very different, and that's a good thing, because otherwise we would all sound the same and make the same music. What a boring thing this would be. All right. Right, so let's do the same with the Stratocaster. Same as before, dialing in the input trim on the interface, leave the input trim on the DAW, everything at noon. And we're gonna start with the ProCo Red Drive, which is really nice. At first, the tone without the pedal, just to give you an idea how this capture sounds with the Strat. Right, let's engage the Red from 1985. Killer capture, and I have to say this is my favorite from this pedal capture set so far, but it sounds killer, especially with the Strat, and it's a nice one. You can do the same like I told you with the Les Paul, and just use the volume to dial it in a little bit more or less. Less is not too good in my opinion, but more is always, as many say, more is more. All right, let's check out the next one, which is the MXR Distortion Plus. Let's try the lead setting. It's a little bit more fuzzy, I guess, but this could be a great thing. First pedal off. Switch it on. Very, very nice, very nice, very, very raspy, and it really has some fuzzy character. It adds really a lot of bass. For a Stratocaster, it's a great thing. With the Les Paul, I think it's hard. It's a little bit harder to dial in, but it also works. But for now, this is a great tone. So let's maybe the next one. Where's my list? Because I already had a list which ones I wanted to show you. Let's try the Guv'nor lead. And first pedal off. Oh, sorry. Switch it on. Very saucy, very nice. Let's add some reverb and some delay for some flavor. Very nice. And let's say you wanted a little bit more of that character. The volume a little up a little bit. It gets raspy a little bit. That could be nice with a neck pickup. Sounds amazing, great for lead tone, and that's typical Guv'nor vibe. So let's switch the effects pedal off, and let's try another one. Maybe I think we should go for the Ibanez Tube Screamer, because as we all know, some guy with a hat has to use it sometimes, or had used it. Pedal off, and let's turn the pedal off. On. Very nice. That sounds like a tube screamer in front of something. So that's all. Basically, also here, let's come on, let's get crazy, add some volume to it, and then we want to see it. Also sounds amazing. Not too nice would be like this. As you can tell. So be careful with your volume. Just at 5 or even a little bit more, like you want. Alright, so the next thing is the DOD 250, the gray one, which it's some very mystique going on with this pedal. And some guys like Yngwie Malmsteen use this a lot back in the days. They use it in front of a more raw Marshall, so we won't go into that tutorial, but we're gonna maybe the next release, Carly. So when you do the DOD 250, I hope to see some Yngwie settings, and maybe this one will also work with the right amp behind it. But now we have this kind of sound, and we want to beef it. Oh, I'm sorry, I leave on the delay and reverb. Of course, we're gonna switch that off. So now let's see how this sounds when we add in the pedal itself on the, let's do the drive one. All right. very nice, very amp-like. It feels very amp-like. So this is nice. Let's engage the volume a little bit. Very nice. But I wanted to know if we use a little bit more, so let's try the lead setting. That's very saucy, very nice. And let's add some reverb and some delay. No, I won't do the Ingrid thing here because I don't want to. A little bit maybe. Also a fantastic tone. For me personally, when I play leads, I want to have a little bit more saturations, so I would basically use a more overdriven amp. But for this kind and this basic, as you can tell, the main tone is like this. Go to this. Amazing, because it has that raw vintagey kind of overdrive, some fuzziness in it, some great bass, great mids, and really barks at you. It's nice. It's a killer pedal capture, as I can tell. All right, guys. So that's basically all. Just my 10 favorite tones from this package, and there will be more releases very soon. So always watch out and get this platform and these pedals, because they do sound amazing. Don't be afraid to try this out with different amps, because as you can tell, the volume has a lot to do, and maybe if you use another capture with some more gain, you can have some nice experience dialing the volume even back. Just try to experiment. Don't use the numbers, because there is no actual really 100% right or wrong way. You just have to use your ears, and that's very, very important. And I learned that a lot, even more with the Tonex ecosystem, because it's basically actually the same, just in digital format. There are some rules like the input trim. Okay, that's true, but if you put another pedal in front of it, you have gain stacking, and that's a completely different thing. And don't be afraid to experiment, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot. These are some killer pedal captures. Like them. I really, really dig them, the way Carly's dialed them in. And I can't wait to go to the rehearsals and try these captures out in a real-time band situation. So far, for the recording perspective, I can tell they sound killer. Also, try some different amps. For this, of course, it might sound best with the capture Carly's used, but it doesn't tell you that it doesn't work on a Marshall. So try it out. I promise you it will sound amazing. All right. Thanks you guys for so much for watching. Have a nice day. Play guitar. I'm gonna see you next time. Cheers.